Hey folks, Dan Frio here with the rate update. And what I'm trying to do in 2024 is actually go out and meet with realtors. So today I got a friend of mine, Eric Larkin. We're down in Cocoa Beach today. And I started figuring I'd start getting out in the field a little bit. I think you guys want a little of the entertainment factor. But I asked Eric to come on because he's not one of the doom and gloom sayers that, most people have out there when you're checking out, trying to get 100,000 views or not. What I try to do on my channel is actually provide you with the facts. And it might not be as juicy or robust as a lot of, these videos out there, but at least it's giving you the facts behind the scenes. So, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been down here forever, haven't you?
Yeah, well, my family moved to Florida in the 80s when I was in high school. So I've lived most of my life here in Brevard County on the Space Coast, Cocoa Beach area. And I've been in real estate since 2003. So I've seen like a slower market. I saw the doom and gloom of '08 and '09 when that had happened, through the crazy market of the last couple of years, and now dealing with the latest shift in things.
Yep.
And, on if you're talking to agents or seeing the news or maybe rating the amount of phone calls that are coming in on properties, it certainly feels way slower today than what it was a couple of years ago. But if you look at just the numbers of what's actually happening transaction wise as a whole for the county, we're not in too bad a shape.
Right.
Inventory is certainly much higher today than what it was last year or even 6 months ago. But we're transitioning back to a real estate market that we saw in like 2018 and 2019, pre-COVID.
So when you do the tough thing when I'm trying to analyze a lot of this stuff is when I'm going through it, you can't take really like in 2020, 2021, it was nuts. So you kind of get used to that volume and that call count and everything else. But it's getting back to a little bit to normalcy that I'm seeing. So here, I guess my questions are this, we all saw, the white elephant in the room was the housing market's going to crash. And it's going to crash in 2021. And then it's going to crash in 2022. And then 2023. And now you have 2024. And everybody's still now, it's going to crash in 2024. So what are you guys seeing here?
Well, I know here in Brevard County, I think we're kind of isolated from what might be happening across the country because we've got the Space Center. So everything that's happening out there, SpaceX is launching, like they've already launched 83 launches this year of rockets. And they're bringing in a lot of people for working on the SpaceX and their rocket program. Blue Origin is gearing up to get ready to start launching here in 2024 or 2025. So they're bringing a lot of people in. You've got the SLS and other things that are happening at the Space Center that's bringing a lot of people to Brevard County. And that's just at the north end of the county. Here at the south end of the county, we've got L3 Harris. There's Boeing has a presence here. Lockheed Martin. The Melbourne airport itself is bringing in a lot of jobs for support and other industry that's launching for like aerospace stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people moving into the area where I don't think we'll be as bad off as other parts of the country because of the economy and what's happening here in Home County.
So what I try to do is I try to analyze the country because so many people just say, the market's crashing. And I can cherry pick and find that data to say, Austin's down, double digits.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at everything in its entirety, the markets are pretty flat. And I called that last year. I was like, okay, I don't see the only way the house market could crash is if you just had too much going on to the market. With the rates the way they were, a lot of people aren't selling their homes. So that's why I came out, 2 years ago and said, there's not going to be a crash. And everybody thought I was crazy. So while I was waiting for you, I just went through some information and debunk these if you can, I guess is what I'll say. These are numbers in Cocoa Beach, but just for the record, I do own real estate in Cocoa Beach. That's why I'm down here right now. Eric, he helps me with rentals and things like that. So I thought I'd reach out to him, just give a kind of a true perspective from the realtor base. And you guys will probably say, he's a realtor, so they're going to pump, the real estate market or whatever. No, I reach out to people that actually give you the facts. So here's the research that I did so far. So, on and like I was saying a little bit ago, when we thought rates were going to hit 4%, when they were at 3%, everybody's like, the market's going to crash. And then we saw 8% rates not too long ago. Our business where, in my office, it could be much better, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. But in the local area, here's what I'm getting at. I saw Cocoa Beach year over year, the median home price, it's saying is up 46%.
Correct.
6%.
Correct.
Okay. And then price per square, I tried to really dissect it down, is up 26%.
I'll have to take your word on that. I know I track what the sales per square foot is, but I don't have the ratio of how much it's improving or not improving.
So home prices up 46% year over year. And here's another thing that kind of blew me away. Most people that are moving here are coming from the number one by far, Miami.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm like, so a lot of my friends buy on the West Coast, meaning the West Coast of Florida.
Okay.
They're in Naples and those areas. I look at, and this is my perspective of Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach is like I'll say it, the redneck Naples. Maybe I'm not trying to say that derogatory. I'm just saying I'm from West Virginia originally, so I'm a redneck. So it's much more affordable. I have friends that'll rent in Naples for a month. It's $10,000.
And the price point in Naples is certainly much, much higher than what we have in Cocoa Beach. And I think we're just not known as well as Miami, even Daytona or Jacksonville, and definitely on the West Coast. Prices are certainly higher in Naples and Sarasota than what we have in Cocoa Beach. I just think we've always flown under the radar where not many people either know that we're here or realize what the prices are. They just assume if you're on the coast, if you're on the ocean, it's going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
Which it is pretty expensive here, especially compared to where prices were 4 or 5 years ago, or even 2 or 3 years ago. Prices are still up.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because not many people know the value of Brevard County and Cocoa Beach and what we have to offer.
Well, that's why I thought I'd reach out to you to say, hey, there's a lot of stuff here. The port, there's Cape Canaveral is right down the street. Port Canaveral, which is one of the biggest,
It's the busiest cruise port in the country.
really.
We surpassed Miami last year, and we're on track to beat them again this year.
So if you're going out to a Caribbean a cruise, you're probably going out of Cape Canaveral or Port Canaveral. So you might not realize Cocoa Beach is a couple miles down the street. You can get, I have a place right on the ocean. I won't say it's affordable, but it's not as bad. It's a fraction of the price that they have in Naples. And I bought here because my family members have been coming down here for years and years and years. I bought some rental properties down in this area and it just held its value. And then all of a sudden I saw, like you were just mentioning earlier, you got SpaceX here. You have a ton of manufacturing or aerospace that's coming into this area now. And then you also have the port that keeps growing and growing and growing. And then isn't the port now also one of the biggest commercial importers?
I don't know where the port on the volume or the dollar amount that they bring in compared to other ports in the country or the nation. They just really broadcast a lot about the cruise numbers and how we surpassed a lot of things. But I know coming into our port right now, all the lumber for the southeast part of the country comes through Port Canaveral. I know the fuel for central and northern parts of Florida comes through Port Canaveral. We have a lot of traffic on that end of it.
Yeah.
Morton Salt, they have a big warehouse here and holding center here at Port Canaveral. So if you use Morton Salt, it probably came through Port Canaveral.
Got it. And it's SpaceX is here as well, right?
Correct. SpaceX, They just launched 2 days ago. Actually, they've launched twice in the last 5 days. So they're
amazing.
It's constant.
So do you see or do you foresee the market crashing here?
The biggest thing that I think will have our local market, especially along A1A, the beach communities, is what's happening with the insurance and how it's affecting association fees. So we've got the association fees. I know 3 years ago, 4 years ago, an affordable association fee was under $400, and you could find them under $300 quite often. And now it's hard to find a condominium where their association fee is under $500. And really, especially oceanfront, $800 to $1,000 a month is pretty normal for the association fee, and that's just for the condominiums. If you're looking at insurance for the single family homes, it's gotten really expensive. I live in a house in Cocoa Beach, and our insurance went, 4 years ago, we were paying $2,500 a year for our homeowners insurance, and they're anticipating our renewal at the first of the year to be $5,400. So it's definitely going up.
Got it. The real estate taxes down here, fairly?
I don't think they're terrible,
Okay.
especially compared. I talked to a lot of people in New York and they're paying 10,000 plus a year for their taxes. The millage rate here depends on the city that you're in, but at the low end, if you're in, if you're living in a county area, you're paying $14 for every $1,000 worth of value. I know Cocoa Beach is $18.50 for every $1,000 worth of value. Cape Canaveral, I think is 14, right in the middle, 14 and a half for every
The
$1,000.
tax base is good. Like I'm
Yeah.
in Illinois, my home, and we have the second largest real estate tax base in the country,
Okay.
below New Jersey. So coming down here, it was like kind of a breath of fresh air. It was like, okay, the taxes aren't so bad, but the insurance, my insurance, just be for the record, my homeowners association, just like you said, went up from like $600 to $900, and basically all that was on the insurance piece of the thing. Because what triggered that? The Miami, the
Well,
crash of
That's something else with
Okay.
the Miami. What triggered the insurance was just all the claims that we've had. Florida is in the top 3 of insurance claims that are happening across the country, and that's because of the storms that we've had, and also because of hail damage. So there's been a lot of on residential roofs being replaced because of hail damage. You know, you have the
Really?
third-party adjusters that are coming out, and you're getting a new roof. Congratulations! But now we're paying the
Paying-
consequences of it because so many companies have pulled out, and yeah, so insurance is definitely higher because of that. And that affects, there's a lot of companies that have pulled out of Florida where they're not even writing coverage anymore. So we have fewer insurance companies. And when you have fewer insurance companies in a high risk area, the prices are going to go up until there's alternatives for that. But what happened in Sunrise, Florida, with the condominium that collapsed in South Florida, Ron DeSantis passed a law in July where if you are in a condo that's 3 stories or higher, once you hit 25 years of age, you have to have an integrity study of the condominium just to make sure it's safe and secure. So most of the condos here in Cocoa Beach are over 25 years old, and actually the condos all along A1A are under 25 years old. So they're going to have the integrity study just to make sure that the condo is safe. So every 10 years they have a phase 1. If they don't see anything that looks like it's serious damage or could be a safety issue for the condo, then you're good for the next 10 years. But if they see cracks or damages to the balcony, then they have to do a phase 2 integrity study, which more than likely means they're going to do concrete work. And when there's concrete work, there's big assessments, where I've seen there's a building in Satellite Beach for the 3-bedroom units. It was $90,000 per unit, an assessment. The little efficiencies were $40,000. So depending on the size of the condo and how big your balcony was, depended upon the
We just got
what the
hit.
assessment was.
We just got hit for 30.
Yeah.
30,000. And that's a chunk of change. But again, if you're looking to move down here, all that stuff is already allocated in. So you're probably in a good shape there. But, I still try to come back to, I don't, and I know the insurances are going up and the taxes are going up a little bit, but I mean, with all the stuff that's here, you have all the employment, all the aerospace, the shipping, the cruise ships. We're 45 minutes from Orlando. So a lot of people don't know that. When I fly into the Orlando airport, get an Uber. It's a 45-minute drive over, and I'm sitting on my balcony right on oceanfront, enjoying the view. And then on the weekends, it gets crazy because most of the people from Orlando, this is the closest beach.
Yeah.
So that's what I just wanted to go through, some of this stuff with you because, you keep seeing, the housing market's going to crash. And my goal in 2024 is to reach out to realtors and just do a one-on-one with them and just ask them their local markets. And I'm not trying to cherry pick anybody. I'm just saying, what do you see? So what are you seeing in 2024? What's your expectation?
Well, right now, like with the condos, since we started talking about that, our sales on a typical year, we're averaging 50 or 60 condos every month for Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral closing. We're down to 30 a month.
Okay.
But looking at the average and median prices, we're up 25%.
Yeah.
October 23 to October 22. So even though sales are slowing down, prices haven't really been phased.
Why do you think that?
Well, destination, it's still a desirable area.
Yeah.
And if you compare an oceanfront condo in Cocoa Beach to an oceanfront condo in Fort Lauderdale, the price, what are you getting for the price? You're getting a much better value here, and you're not getting the crowds of South Florida either. So I think that's part of the draw here. And why we haven't really seen the big decrease in condo prices. I really expected a big drop in condo prices just because of how high the association fees have gotten and the demand dropping off, but it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it's going to happen.
Okay. That's the one thing I'm still trying to get a beat on, you know, why would the crash? Here's my analogy of a crash. Whatever creates a crash, think of it of a price of anything. You have to have too much of that stuff. You know, you take here, for example, there's really nowhere else to build. Is
No.
there a lot of build? Like I'll go down by coconuts.
Yeah.
And they're building some stuff down there. Other than that, there's nothing open.
There's not much land in Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral to build oceanfront condos or even dry lot ones, you know, that
Right.
are somewhere in the middle or even on the river. There's not much land for that. So that's scarcity for one, which is probably keeping prices where they're at. Yeah.
And I started getting when the association fees started really hitting, I started getting real calls from realtors every day. Are you looking to sell? Are you looking to sell? Are you looking to sell? Did a lot of people take it? Well, obviously, a lot of people, they aren't taking advantage of that. They're still going to hold on for that property because even like you said, the houses people aren't fire selling this stuff.
They're
And
not.
the volume hasn't really picked up to kind of compensate for that. So if that didn't cause prices to drop, you know, $90,000 assessments,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the inventory for the condos in Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral, we're over 200 now, 200 units.
Okay.
So we're close to a 7-month supply, which is definitely on paper a buyer's market
Correct.
once we get to
Yeah.
that point. So if there is going to be a softening in prices for condominiums, it's going to happen soon just because of the inventory growing and the sales just kind of being semi-flat.
So the inventory is growing.
For the condos,
Okay,
correct.
got it. But single family homes,
Single family homes, there's 35 or 40 on the market right now, and we sell 10 a month. So we're at a 3 or
Got
4
it.
month
Okay.
supply. Nothing scary yet. The condominiums I think are a little more scary just because of where the inventory's at. We're almost back to 2018 numbers, which was 250 to 300 condos at any given time, but
Yeah.
we were selling 60 condos a month back then. So
Got it.
it was a 5 or 6 month.
And do you think that the contribution to that is just the spike in the association fee?
It has to be, yeah.
Assessment? Okay. Because, you know, I even contemplated, it's like 30 grand. I'm not down here that much. That's why I reached out to you at that one point. I'm like, hey, what should I do?
Yeah.
And then I appreciate your help on that. So that was about all, you know, I just wanted you to go through here because I was kind of astonished by the numbers when I'm like, the home prices are still going up. The assessment costs are going up, but you know, if that along with rates, along with, you know, the economic dynamics haven't really, you know, crushed this market, what will? You know, and that's to be seen.
Yeah, because we haven't seen, because I get a lot of people calling me saying where are the foreclosures? Foreclosures have to be coming. We're averaging 5 foreclosures a month for the county. So there's not a foreclosure market. Banks aren't repossessing the properties as of yet. And if folks are in a position where they're behind on their payments, they have equity.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they could sell it
Ton of
and pull the money out so the bank doesn't foreclose on it. So I don't really see a foreclosure market happening. The inventory as a whole for the entire county, we've grown to 4,000 properties, which is where we're 3,500. We're going towards 4,000, but that's where we were at pre-pandemic. But we're still selling 1,000 or more per month. So 3.5, 4 month supply. That's a seller's market.
Right. That's
So
awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we've been dealt the cards to say that a market crash should be coming. We just haven't seen the signs here yet.
Got it. So that's what we're doing here. That's why I asked Eric to come out to kind of either debunk or validate the information that I had. And basically you've kind of validated all the stuff. And I thought these numbers were like, I'm like, okay, there's somebody published these numbers. They can't be correct. So I'd ask you, and I wasn't trying to catch you on anything. I just wanted to see, it's like home values, you know, all you see on YouTube, and you're on YouTube,
Yep.
It's all over YouTube as well, is you see, you know, crash, 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 crash. And it's like, where is it? It sells or it gets a lot of views on YouTube. But is it truly the facts behind the scenes? And only time's going to tell. So I want to thank you so much for
Yeah, man.
coming out.
Appreciate it,
And
Dan.
next time I'm down here, we'll hook up again and do this again.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
All righty.